Okay, so Gail.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Gail. Jill, share us some highlights, couple highlights about the first ever Love Laguna Beach.
Yeah, first one. It was we put it together pretty quick, I think like in a couple months. So we had a lot of great positive response right away, but a lot of people that just had no clue what Love Laguna Beach, what it meant. So it was a lot of time we spent explaining how it was going to work and look, and which was good. So it was kind of getting people to understand what that was all about. And we had a lot of fun opportunities to do that. And so it went really well. I ordered 100 t-shirts, kind of just targeting that number. Our city has about 24,000 residents. And so we had a couple challenges in that it was the opening day also of the Sawdust Festival for the Winter Wonderland. So a lot of photographers and different vendors and all were committed to doing that. So we were kind of competing a little bit with that, but it was fine. And so we ended up having an awesome kickoff, and we had, from what I can gather from all the waivers and all, just trying to piece it together, we had over 200 people up there at our kickoff, ran out of t-shirts, and we had 13 projects. And we had, the city was very supportive and helpful. So that was huge. And we just tried to hit every organization we could to announce it. So when asking people, oh, how did you hear about, Love Laguna Beach? Because we were also competing with the election. So all our newspapers were covering it was because our event was the week after elections. So the newspapers were very focused on that, our local newspapers. And so, but it was great because we could spin it off and, hey, it's been such kind of a divisive time and, very stressful time with this election. Let's all come together as one, no matter what side you're on, and work together to help, those in need. So we did, it was nice. Our newspapers put that spin on it as well. So that kind of helped for sure. And so we have 3 new city council members. So a couple of them came and some old city council members came. So it was kind of an interesting time to try to navigate it all, but it worked. And we had a great, once the event gets going, it all went really smooth. Awesome. And so we had people come out of, all kinds of people just come out and want to help and provide food. And it was really cool to just see them jump right in. We had our students at the high school really embrace doing this, because I went up and spoke to all the club leaders up there, and they wanted to come up with projects and they wanted to volunteer. And so they came up with their own food drive project, one of the food drive club, and went to 3 grocery stores, organized it all themselves, and collected 715 pounds of food for our local food pantry. And then a lot of groups did want to do their own projects and work together. So the Rotary did their own project at the food pantry. And then we had one of our students that came. He was from outside of Hong Kong, just moved here. It was very broken English, just started school here, him and his family. And so he just jumped right in. And so I kind of was talking to him, and then he came by church the next week to get his community service hours signed. And we had a homework club going on and folded him right in. And he, like I said, very broken English, but he's very eager. And I said, why don't you come on Sunday and help me out if you want, because he's kind of like, oh, what, do you need anything else? And so he came to church, and he said it was his first time ever in a church. Wow. He'd never been to church before. Wow. So that was very cool. And then he was calling his family to tell them to come down and go to church. So it was just really cool, the connections that were made. And a lot of our volunteers had no clue that there was even an alternate sleeping location for the homeless in the canyon. So just a lot of education I felt was given. And one cool project, and maybe other cities do this, but
You got about 15 seconds, Gail. So
Okay, it was really popular, they all made homemade cookies and brought it to our senior center and with a tag from our Sally's Fund with services that's provided for them. So they knocked on all the doors and said hello and gave them homemade cookies with information.
That is
So
awesome.
it was very cool. It was very cool. So it was a great success.
Yay. Well, way to go. First time you did it.
Yay.
Next time it'd be a whole lot easier. Trust me.
Yeah, right,
Once you
right.
get the first one off the ground. All right. Hey, a couple of things here I want to mention here. One is our book. If you have not got a copy of this yet, please let me know. I'll make sure I'll get you a copy. But I really would love for each of you to just give me your honest thoughts about after reading it, what's your honest feedback, and ideally really by the end of this month, if you could, you know, I know with holidays might be tough, but it might also be easier with some time just to read late at night by the fireplace or whatever. But I would love to just get your honest feedback from you. And then what we need, this is where I need you guys' help. I need your guys' back in this thing. I've never done this before. It's a new venture, but you guys are my tribe, okay? And so I need for each of you to just record a 25 to 30-second video and just hey, this is my name. This is where I'm from. This is what I feel like. This is what I think about this book right here. And please, you know, order your copy today. Just something real quick. Brian's going to be doing a lot of the book marketing, social media. So he's really needing a lot of those kind of short videos. And then if you could post that on your social media and that video or just a picture of you in the book, just encouraging people to pick up a copy at their favorite bookstore. And then finally, just write a review. And a number of you have wrote a review on Barnes and Nobles. That's probably the best place to go right now. Amazon doesn't take reviews yet until after the book is released, which is April 11th of this next year. But if you guys can have my back in that and just help me with that, I would appreciate it so much. And so, yes, that's the book. And then this spring, Love Modesto is celebrating 15 years, our 15th year of where this thing all got started here. And so I want to invite you all, if you're not doing your citywide volunteer day on April 29th, that last Saturday in April, I want to invite you to come to Modesto and to see and observe what we do and how we do it. And I promise you, we will wine and dine you well, and we will give you an experience that you'll just love and take it back to your own city. And so please let me know if you can come. Jamie, I know from Love Orange has already signed up. And so I know there'll be others as well. But just looking forward to having so many people a part, just like we do every year. Every year there's a bunch of people that come, and I hope this will be a year that you can come if you are available. Okay, this January 1, in a couple weeks, Love Our Cities will be officially 2 years old as a nonprofit organization. We made it to year 2. And I've got some great news to share, is that in celebrating our 2-year anniversary here, and as we continue to grow, we have hired a couple people here that are on this call to support you all more. You know, it's just been me supporting you, and Eric certainly was a huge part of that from the start. But I'm only one person, and I ain't going anywhere, but I definitely need some more support here. So I want to share with you, I'll introduce to you a couple people here. First of all, I'll start with Dave Bushnell. And Dave is going to be our city engagement director, kind of taking a lot of the role that Eric did, you know, a couple years ago, but also, well, doing some more things as well. So Dave, I'm going to have you introduce yourself briefly and just share a little bit about what you're going to be doing and what you're dreaming about and impacting, you know, all of us here.
Super. I'm easy. The dream is 1,000 cities in 10 years. So that's what I'm really excited about. My name is Dave Bushnell, live in Spokane, Washington. My wife, Karen, and I have 5 kids, ages 15 to 24, 2 military kids, 1 in college, 1 in the workforce, and 1 in high school. I've been a career person in ministry, so 18 years as a local church pastor before joining the Global Leadership Network that hosts the Global Leadership Summit. And so now I am back in the local church work, as well as I've got my own coaching and consulting and organizational success business that primarily serving nonprofits and city movements So groups director at 2 churches, in addition to getting to step into the Love Our Cities team. And my primary role is to help you win. So what does it look like to put a 0 on the end of the number of volunteers that are serving in your city? How do we go about doing that? Who don't we have at your table yet? And how can we draw them to your table with a compelling vision for your city? So that's part of what I get to do. The other part of what I get to do is think forward about that. What are the systems and scalable strategies that will help Love Our Cities get to that 1,000 cities in 10 years mark? So those are the 2 primary thrusts of what I get to do. So I'm really excited about the work that you are doing, because you're bringing together the most every single sector in your community. And so people are you're creating incredible shared memories for folks, incredible shared experiences that lead to ongoing city transformation. And so I'm honored to get to be part of that in a small way.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave, so much. Yay. So, hey, guess what? We were set out to hire one person to help me out, but we had 2 people that we couldn't say no to. And so Danielle, share a little about yourself and some of your ideas and dreams and what you're going to be doing with Love Our Cities.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Danielle. If we've not met, I live in North Bend, Washington. Kind of was a coincidence that Jeff got 2 Washingtonians. But so my husband, Steven, and I live right outside of the mountains. And we just spend a lot of time outdoors, hiking, biking, camping, all of the things that we can do to be outside. And we just have 1 fur baby so far. And honestly, I am just so excited to be a part of the bigger umbrella of Love Our Cities. So I serve on team with Love Snoqualmie Valley. And so I know John from a couple years ago when he lived in this area. And it just has been really cool to see, really hands-on, how we do this, how we do this on a small scale, on a bigger scale, how we get people engaged. And so being able to be a part of Love Our Cities kind of on this broader scale makes me super pumped. And so with that, my scope of work is really being as relational with you guys as possible, as far as answering questions, being on calls, saying, hey, what do you need from Love Our Cities? How can we help you? I love what Dave said. How can we help you win? How can we get more people on board? How can we pray for you? How can we just be there for you in the best support that we can? So that's part of my role. And then as well as really helping to bring on new cities. And so as new cities are signing on, helping them understand the website, helping them understand the new app, and just really giving them the best resources and tools as they join our team. So I'm super excited.
Yay. One of the things that we want to do is we're going to kind of divide up, Dave's going to take a number of you guys and Danielle's going to take a number of you guys. It's too much if we just all, huddle around you, but we're going to kind of divide up all the cities just so we can support you guys the best we can. And so anyhow, I'm super excited. This is a whole new day for Love Our Cities. 2 years in to really hire, 2 people that can help support us all be the best we can be. And that's what we want to do. So yay, super excited. All right. Next thing I'm really excited about is our new website platform. So John, are you ready? We're going to talk about the front end website. Hey, let me say this first. I want to appreciate John. He has put in so much into this website platform. And guys, let me say this, not only has he's super qualified at what he's doing technically and all that development stuff, but the humility in which he serves and in the openness to taking your guys' thoughts, ideas. This is your guys' website. And so we want to make it the best it can be for you all, to serve you all the best it can be, and take your ideas and implement those ideas. But I just love how John listens, and how he really tries to, honor your guys' requests and make things happen. So I just appreciate him so much. Can we give it up for John, all he's done so far? Yay. And hey, you pilot cities out there too. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
absolutely.
for Irvine and Newport and La Mirada. If I'm missing one, forgive me. But thank you for the pilot cities too. You guys endured, you guys were the guinea pigs. a little bit.
Yes.
So, all right, John, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. All right. Well, let's just get into it. As mentioned, one of our biggest goals, not only to give you guys a good admin portal, but a website that was, just in this century and responsive and looks really good and easy to edit and all those sorts of things. So this is kind of our template for the website that we will start you with. Very similar to the old stuff, and you'll be able to kind of build it from there. Just brings more of, as you're maybe perusing other websites, it hopefully looks very similar to some of the design standards you guys are seeing. Some of the stuff we've added is kind of this upcoming project. This can be where you can feature projects. You can have 3 random projects. You can have 3 of like the based on date, the ones that are coming up more recently if you're doing ongoing stuff. So just helping give little bite-sized pieces in your website. Your sponsor thing that connects there to your admin portal that we talked about, and whatever else you want to include with your website. Everything else, again, from the most part of what you guys currently have, it's all here. It just works a little more streamlined and those sorts of things. This is going to be your login page, not only for you guys, but your volunteers, which allows just kind of think a better user experience, right, as they're getting into your system, but allows you to even add content there within your login page and those sorts of things. But let's get into the editor here. So the website is built again on a content management system. And so there's a lot of power here for those that are ready for that. If you don't want to get into the weeds, if you don't want to get into all the details, that's okay. If you're just saying, I just want to update the template, kind of, get the basic stuff in there, that's perfect. And there's a lot of cities that do that. So this is a front end editor, very similar to like Squarespace or Webflow or Wix or something like that. And so really easy to change text just right on the page here. And so as you can kind of see all these things floating around everywhere, just super easy to change the style look. You can drop in images, you can change font size, the height. Again, every little thing can be kind of changed, and it all kind of follows within what we have set here within your theme and those sorts of things. I'm trying not to get too much into the details of actually editing stuff. Our documentation has all this, but just kind of wanted to show you everything here. So kind of how the website is set up is you have what are called rows. And so rows are going to be the big block, right? The big section that you're editing, that you're running with. And so that's what these are kind of set up here. These can be moved up and down, they can be duplicated. And you can even get into, if you really want to, into the HTML, the code behind what's happening here, if you want to go for that. As well as you've got columns that, again, you can adjust content. So you can change how big, how small you want those to be, and those sorts of things. So a lot of manipulation, customization you can do within each section. But the beauty of this is it's not a template. It's template based, but allows you to do anything and everything you want. And so we have a lot of pre-built stuff that you have access to be able to add elements. And so as you click this kind of plus element stuff, you're going to see some of the preset stuff, but this is where the beauty is. You guys ready? Here it is. All right. You click more and we've got preset stuff ready to go for the entire thing. And so pre-styled stuff, you can say, oh, this is exactly what I want. Here it is. It'll drop it in. It's got counters. It's got FAQ sections, blogs, lists, social buttons, and those sorts of things. And so if you want to drop in a video, you want to drop in a map, it's super easy. We've got accordions, so things that expand and show for lots of content in a small amount of section. It's got testimonials, carousels, so things that rotate as you flip through it, and so much more. Image hotspots, which are fun. If you're doing like a map of your city and you want to drop in little pinpoints of where your projects are, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, so again, lots of stuff. We're just trying to help have stuff that looks good, is ready to go, kind of out of the box for you, that you're able to just simply click on. It's going to drop it in right where you have it. Really easy to change icons. It's going to pull a full icon library for you, so you're not having to find or make your own icons, and those sorts of things, and so on. Yeah, so then in addition to just elements that are pre-styled, we also have entire sections that are ready to go. And so if you're just looking for really basic content, I want an image on the left with text on the right. Perfect. There you go. Those sorts of things. Just want basic layout, kind of like how the old website worked. I want 4 columns to be able to add content. That's ready to go. And then they've got basically entire websites. I think there are a lot of just ready to go content that you could use to basically build entire pages, whatever it is, of how things all look very similar, work together, and those sorts of things. Just click through a couple of these here. You can add, you can create custom sections for yourself. So if there's something you're working on, you get it, you love how it looks, you can actually save that into your own custom section. So if you wanted to use it again for other pages on your website or something like that, that makes it really nice to be able to use those sorts of things. All right, I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions. That was a lot, but here we are.
Yeah, John, I put a couple questions in chat there.
Oh, cool.
So I know we're an early city, so we've been using it for a while. When's this version roll out?
Yeah, you're on my list, Curtis,
Okay.
to get you guys, transferred over. Yeah, getting the 3, this front end is not the front end that our beta cities we're using. And so, it's just gonna take a little bit to, we'll have to just coordinate and make sure we're ready to make that transition. Yep.
Yeah, so, okay, the other thing was I've asked that before too, is like, I know we were starting to use a different front end like Wix or Squarespace. And I know some other cities are using different. Can we connect to the back end with a different front end versus this?
Sure, yeah, no, it's a good question. I mean, the quick answer is no. It doesn't connect in the same way. It's like what's happening is this is a custom module is what it's called that we've dropped in that's connected directly with your stuff. Now I'm happy to work with you to help provide what's called an API, make those calls, get that information. If you have someone who says, yep, I can take that API and develop it into another website, sure, we can work together and get you that information. But it's not just oh yeah, I can use Squarespace and just drop in this code and it's going to pull it all together.
Yeah. Okay, so it's possible with an API.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, separate API. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
John, as people sign up for projects, is there a database that we can see that can, say, be exported to MailChimp for
Yes,
if we don't want to
absolutely.
communicate within the app?
Yes, and that's one of the things that that's still on the list for the admin side is we're going to have integration with MailChimp and Constant Contact. So your contact database will directly sync with your mailing lists if that's what you're using. Yeah, so I think that'll either way, you'll be able to export and upload, or it'll just automatically do it for you every night. Yep. Good question.
John, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
And this is really specific to Colorado Springs, but so when we kind of began working with Love Our Cities, we had a whole website that had existed for many years. And so we have just used the volunteer function of the
Right.
website. So we have like a volunteer, click here, and it takes them to the Love Our Cities volunteer kind of page.
Sure.
Can that still work? I'm just making sure that that's not a,
Yeah.
or if it's a different question than Curtis's.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you're able to use this however you want. So like if you wanted your
Okay.
homepage to be just your project list, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good. All right. Yeah, so editing content again, the idea is it's pretty simple, pretty easy. Images are set up and integrated with I'm trying to remember which one it is now. I think it's Pixabay. So it has a whole library of free, royalty-free stock images that you guys can use, directly import to your website. There are plenty of other websites you can download and upload as well. But again, hopefully trying to give one less step. You guys can just search image libraries here, find good images, and those sorts of things. There is a image editor built in to the website as well. So as you're uploading images, you can edit images, change them, crop them, some of those sorts of things. It can do video backgrounds. It can do pretty much anything you can think of. The site's kind of set up for that. It can have gradients, parallax images. If you don't know what any of that is, that's okay. But it's all kind of there. All right. So within the site itself, these kind of icons on the left here are your kind of big picture website stuff. And so you have your pages, simple page structure. You can create pagination. We're going to load your website with basically these preset pages. You've got your project list. You have the view project page of where they actually view what the project looks like, your suggested project, your account creation, how they sign in, their profile stuff, and of course your homepage. When you are editing your website, getting into it, just be careful if you're editing those pages or if you're wanting to change things around and those sorts of things. You're not going to be able to mess things up. But if you delete something that was there, we'll just want to make sure it gets back because it's there for a reason, and those sorts of things. All stuff we can help with if you accidentally do something. And so like so this is going to be your project page. It's going to have all your projects listed initially in a grid. It can also be toggled into a list view. And so really quickly, a little bit easier view to see more projects at once, if that's what they're doing. Everything is set up by your categories, so really easy to filter by category in those sorts of ways. Your project page looks similar to what the admin portal does, but we've got a nice little header with your project image, then all the information within the project itself. Yeah, and so these pages work a little different. They're not using the content builder like the front page. They're using just individual modules. And so this actually allows you to change the structure of your project page. This is just a template, right, that updates based on the project that they click on. And so like if you wanted your project title to be over here, you can drag and drop it. Now your project title is over there. So again, allows you to change kind of the overall structure and kind of placement of things. If you're like, you know what, we don't even care about these icons, I want to delete that, you can delete it and it's gone in those sorts of ways. All of these modules can be added down here, and you're going to find all the Love Our City modules and those sorts of things. It's just knowing what they're called, which one does what, and so on and so forth. questions about the project page?
This isn't
I'm
necessarily
assuming,
a project question, but we're thinking about doing our city in areas and regions. So year one would be one region, and year two we could do that region plus another one. Is it have nesting function to be able to do that, or would we have to call the projects out by region?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a good question. You could use just off the cuff, probably categories would probably be the best way to do that. And so you would have your categories would be your regions versus actual categories. Now a project can have multiple categories. I think that's right. And so you could have a region and then it could also be a donation or something. Yeah, then that would be a way to basically filter projects by that. Yeah, the other option would be if you didn't want region projects intermingling, you could actually create two separate events. So one event would be North region and one event would be South region or whatever. Yeah, and then those would be essentially two separate events that are happening on the same day or something like that. Cool.
John, this is a really, it seems just commonplace question, but can you remove the photos for each project? For us, we have like hundreds of projects, and sometimes like having another image just means more scrolling.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you don't upload an image, it'll have a default image. But what I can do is create, yeah, I can probably just create a separate module that just has no image. So it'd be like projects, no
Okay.
image. And then it just would be added in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. If not, we can talk about it. That's not difficult, but that makes sense. Cool. All right. So let's get back over here to the homepage. So within your theme itself, and this is where some of the extensibility of Jeff, how much time do I have left? Sorry, I keep forgetting to look at the clock.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, thank you. All right. So within your theme, or within your site, one of the goals we really wanted to give you guys is the ability to have really that customization to make it your own. That your site doesn't have to look like this. You can make it look however you want. And so there's a lot of settings and options. So these kind of three gears, it gets into, this is your, what's called your theme. It allows you to manage anything and everything within the look, feel, layout of your site. And so the general settings here is you get to control your header, content, and footer layouts. So your header is up here with your menu. Your content, of course, is the main stuff, and then your footer itself. And so again, we're going to preset it just with the layouts we have, but there are all sorts of different header styles that you can play with, that you can actually edit, you can change, you can do whatever you want. So each of these can be copied, can be edited. It's like, this is the header we're using. And so you can change where the logo shows up, how it shows up, if you want to change that get started button that's in the menu here, you're like, I don't want to say get started, I want it to say something else. You can do that. You can add in like top headers, like some websites, right, have like a static black bar at the top and it's got a phone number or a contact or something like that. Again, so you can build out that header. That's the template used on all your site. And the same thing for your footer. And your content, this is primarily used for pages where you're using modules versus the content builder. Probably not something you'd ever get to, but that's where you're able to do that in the same way. Yeah, so overall structure, you have a lot of options to be able to deal with, as well as, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. How big you want your container within your website. If you want it pushed down to 960 like the old website, if you want it full width, what your content, what your margins are, as well as all this, the styling. So for within websites, if you're unfamiliar, within your titles, there are 6 what we call header classes: H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Header 1 being the biggest, header 6 being the smallest. And so you're able to control all that sizing, the color of it, the font family. It's got some basic ones here from Google Fonts. We can always drop in custom fonts if you need it to. How thick you want it. So this is like the boldness, 100 being the smallest, 900 being the thickest, sizes and all those sorts of things. And so again, this is the template behind, this is what's called the CSS, the styling behind everything that's happening within your website. When your website loads, what you want that to look like, it has a fixed widget option, which is this thing down here, right? It's set to just go back to the top. The other option you have is social icons. And so if you don't want to utilize the social icons that are at the footer of yours, you can actually have a floating social icon. And so that is, so let's just add a couple here and then you can, or I guess I already have some, and you can see what that looks like. And so then this is like a quick way to get people access to contact you, get connected with your social media, whatever it is, in those sorts of ways. If it loads, let's see. There it goes. So now it's got a social media widget here. And so you would just update those. That's not connected with your database. That's important to know. But you would update it through that theme editor. Cool. All right, let me change that back before I forget. Other options you have include the page title. And so this is like on your projects page. This is your page title, this big section at the top. And so you can change what the layout is, how tall it is, what's included in it, what image is used. If you want an overlay, again, all those sorts of things. You can control what's called a breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is if you have a page, it's kind of the pagination. So it'll show the page that you're on, and then if there's any parent pages and those sorts of things. I have those toggled off, but you're always welcome to toggle them on. Pages can have sidebars. So you can enable a sidebar to include some of that. And then you can also drop in custom CSS or JavaScript within your main template if you have someone that knows what they're doing there. You have access to your default library. This is going to be used within your theme builder, those sorts of things. You can add in images here or throughout editing your pages. But then the nice thing is even within pages, you can have different content. So everything under your settings is going to be your global settings for everything, kind of the starting point. But let's say you want to have a different header image for every page. You can go through each page, you can edit the settings, and you can change. It's going to be inherit, which means it's going to take the setting that you originally set, or you can say, no, I want it to have a different header. I want it to have different content layout. I want the page title to have a different image, and that's what's happening here. I want it to have a different image on this page specifically. And so again, it allows you to customize those pages really easily and do a lot. All right, questions on the theme editor? There's a lot here. It's probably overwhelming, but it'll make sense as you get into it and start to play with it. Cool. All right. So that's a lot of the big picture stuff. Again, there's a lot more we just haven't been able to get into. Site settings and all sorts of stuff. Again, the goal is you wouldn't have to mess with any of that stuff, but it's all there. If you need it, it's going to be things like what your site's actually called, what logos used, what your favicon is, and some of those sorts of things.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Quick question. I wasn't sure where to ask it, but like if you had a bunch of YouTube or like a YouTube channel and you wanted to put it like a live feed, where would that go on this page? Or you can do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Somewhere,
yep.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you would have to, know the script and everything that you have to pull in for live feed for YouTube and stuff. But yeah, you can drop in individual videos. You can embed a channel pretty easily. So there's things like that you can do. Yeah.
John, this looks absolutely fabulous. I can't wait to get into it. Could you show us where you would control what happens once someone signs up for a project? Like, can you configure, say they submit a project, can you configure who gets notifications for that?
Yeah, Nancy, this, I think you sent me an email. This is what I originally had it set that just all of your entire team would get an email notification. I think I'm actually going to change that, that you actually get to toggle in your admin console who gets notification by what form. And so I think that makes the most sense. So under your team member and permissions, you'll be able to say, notify this person about project submissions, about suggest a project, your contact form, those kinds of things. Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right.
John, I've
yeah.
got a quick question.
Yep.
As far as if we were to sell merchandise or as far as donations go, can we add those as pages? Would they be separate places? How would that work?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. Within a page, so there's different kinds of pages. A standard page is going to be, I just put content into it. This is where you can use a URL. So this would be perfect for, I call the page donate. I drop in the link to my donation page, if that's with Giving Fuel or whatever that we set for you guys. And it would redirect, rule of thumb, anytime you send someone to a page that's not on your website, always open it in a new window. Never take someone away from your website by replacing it, always open it into a new tab. So you could drop in your giving URL. And so, but that also, it's twofold. One, it'll put it in your menu if you have that option checked, but it'll also create basically a URL for you. So it could be lovemodesto.com/donate. And then now that's going to take them to your Giving Fuel page. So you don't have to use that crazy Giving Fuel URL. I don't recommend ever using that. And you would have a nice branded URL for those sorts of things.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. You can also do files, which is really nice if you want to have like lovemodesto.com/map and you're sending all your volunteers the day of to that, and it's going to have a map of your city or whatever it is, or schedule or something like that. And it could pull up a PDF or something in that regard.
So on that note, are we able to add our waiver form to every project, or is that specific in like a person's account? How does that work as far as when they fill it out?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So when they create their account, when they go to sign up for a project, that waiver is going to populate on that registration form in that way. And so then it's going to generate all of that for us in that. Yeah. And so on. So they're going to sign it electronically when they sign up for a project and make sure they have a valid waiver. Yeah, good. All right. The last thing, I think I'm short on time here. We can do questions after this as we did last time. We've got a new documentation site. It's up on our city leaders page. The URL is just docs.loveourcities.org. And so it's going to include all the stuff that you guys had before, like the marketing ideas, event promotion, all those sorts of things. But then we've got all the updated website reference. A page that's going to be really helpful is this getting started page. It's basically, if you just walk through these steps, it's going to help you create your first event, create your first project, understand how it all works within your admin portal, and those sorts of things. Explain, what all the buttons do, how you assign a volunteer, and then of course celebrate at the end. It's going to explain all the different user roles, how those work, but then it's also going to have pretty extensive information here about your front end website. Of how actually to go through and add, update site information, how to assign pages, adding pages, modules, using the content builder. It's going to have some nice videos and all sorts of other stuff that just walk through how to actually do some of these things. How to manage all your theme, how to manage layouts, and then explain some of the Love Our Cities modules of what they do. What are all the modules on your project page, the profile page, how that works, and those sorts of things. So a lot here, a lot to get through. Hopefully a great resource, and it is searchable, which is perfect. So if you have a specific question you're looking for, hopefully you'll be able to find it quick and easy. Cool. Questions?
So John, I think this is amazing. Like, it's overwhelming, like honestly.
Yes, yeah.
But I just know like how I work, and I think how most of us work is once we get into it,
Mhm.
and that take whatever page, is having that hand in hand with exploring and trying to hit
Yeah.
buttons and figuring out, you have prepared us well. Like now we just need to get into it. And once we get into it, I think we're all going to be okay. It just seems like any new site or whatever, it's
Yeah.
overwhelming when you get started. So give us a timeline. Where are things at with cities getting on board, and where are things going here?
Yeah, no, it's good. So I have several cities that have already been onboarded into it, and I know are just starting to get their feet wet and these sorts of things. And so I'm just continuing to kind of bust it out. My goal is by Friday I'll have all of you, if not a good portion of you, done. And then if not, by next week for sure. So you should be getting information just as I get your site done. I send you an email with login information and links to everything. Within that, you're going to be given a temporary website URL. It'll most likely be your city name.loveourcities.org. And that allows you to be able to go and actually and update your website, make sure it's ready to go before you actually go live, and replace your old website. So whatever that needs to happen for you. And yeah, and then from there, I just need to know when you guys are ready, and we can make the switch to get your new website live and those sorts of things.
Very, very good. All right, what do you guys think?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Very
All right.
impressive.
So we're going to do this. We said, hey, this is going to be kind of our last training, but you know what? We're the next couple months, like in January and February, I can see us spending some time on this again too. Once you guys are into it, diving into it, and have a chance to really make it your own. I'd like to, in January 4th, talk about, a lot of our cities have volunteer days coming up in April or the spring. So I want to talk about that a little bit. You're 4 months out, you're 5 months out. This is what you should be thinking about. But I really want to spend some time with John being available too. Just kind of have this open kind of time where we're just learning this site and suggesting new ideas or some quirks that aren't working right, whatever. I can see that in, January, maybe even February as well. So, and the last thing is this, we've talked about an app that would go hand in hand with this website. First priority is getting this website off the ground, for all of you to get this thing running. But John and I talked, we're hoping by maybe next summer that we'll be able to have an app, if you would like, as an additional feature for you, your choice, to go hand in hand with this website and the back end and the front end that you can, that your people can have access to. I think this is just going to be it's going to be huge. Having an app, having notifications, just another tool in your toolbox, and reaching your city. So anyhow, that'll be probably next summer as we make sure we get everything worked out website wise here for the spring. And then we'll have that ready then. Okay, I think we're done. You guys, I appreciate you all so much. If you want to stay, I'll be on the call if you want to ask more questions, and maybe John will stay on as well if you'd like. And have a great Christmas season, and we'll see you after the new year.
Hi, Jeff.
Stop recording.